Hi, hello, and welcome again to another episode of Natural Juan. And this episode is another unscripted episode, meaning I'm doing this on the fly without a script. Anyway, before we continue, if you like what I do, please feel free to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell for notifications. And today, we're gonna discuss Mythic Variations. This is another part of the Mythic GM emulator, but it gives you a deeper experience for the way Mythic works. And I really like this particular supplement because it offers more options for the players, as well as making things a lot smoother when they play the game. So okay, let's take a look through the chapters of this book. Oh, my dog is barking outside. Please don't mind him. He's just a little, I guess, lonely. I'll feed him after this, I guess. Okay, first let's start with the game mastering chapter. So this offers the option of simply choosing a referee for your game. Instead of having a game master who decides on everything, you can instead have a referee who works similar to a game master, but is in the dark just like the players. Like, he doesn't know what will happen. He doesn't know what the answer will be. All he really does is he interprets the answer. For example, like if you roll the odds and something referring to, like if you're playing a horror game, for example, and the words that come out are old and ghost. That means if you're playing a horror campaign, that means maybe a ghost appears before your characters. Or if it's not a horror or not even a supernatural campaign, maybe the characters remember their past, and maybe they failed someone in the past who died because of their actions or inaction. See? That's a way to interpret it. And the referee, he's the guy that's gonna interpret all that. Okay? Now, so it says here, pay no attention to that mind behind the curtain. See, this is the way Mythic Variation works for for Mythic. It makes it a lot easier that it's like there's nobody there at all. Next, you'll have the 10-second rule and the 50-50 rule. This simply means that if you aren't sure about something, don't take longer than 10 seconds. See, that's what makes the game drag on. Like, for example, you want to say, is it night already? And the players might agonize over that. They might say, oh, it could be daytime. So the likelihood they'll fight over is, if it's dark, is it night outside? They might fight over whether it's very likely, unlikely, or somewhat likely, or near sure thing. You want to avoid that. So what happens is, the referee, he'll go for the 50-50 rule. This means if you aren't sure, always go for the 50-50. So it's fair to everyone because it's right there. It's right midway. Sorry, excuse me. So the next part of this book would be the themes. Now, this is what I really like about this brand of Mythic. It's that it gives you a lot of options on how you want to how you want your game to be. It can be horror, as given here. There's a horror table. There's the horror PC or horror NPC. Like if it's horror PC, maybe the ghost or the demon appears before the PC. If it's horror NPC, this means that this could mean that the ghost appears before an NPC, or maybe the demon starts targeting them. If you want to go, lighter horror wherein it's not so bad, the monster might appear before the NPC, but at least you have time to save them. sorry. And the chaos factor starts from 4 to 5. So it's not that hectic yet. Wait, let me show you again the GM screen so you know what I'm talking about. Okay. so we have time to compare. So yeah, you see here the chaos factor is 4 to 5. So because you see, the lower the chaos factor, the less likely something is. But the higher it is, the more likely that the answer is yes. Another thing, the horror focus table. The horror focus table replaces the event focus table. So this replaces this in a horror campaign or a horror game. Next is your action adventure game. This is your stereotypical adventure with like adventure archaeologists or superheroes or maybe space marines. Like 1 to 16 is action. Then you have mystery, which is very similar to horror if you will look at the mystery focus table. Now the social focus table is more designed for drama. This is for drama role-playing games. Usually World of Darkness has a bit of this, but I'm not a fan of drama, okay? So, personal, this is more like, this can be used for downtimes and stuff like that. Or, yeah, this personal is also, I think, perfect for single, or if you're playing completely solo, this might be the thing for you. Because it's just you as the person. Epic is for the larger adventures, like when there's, think Avengers Endgame, where there's aliens that are threatening the entire universe. That's what epic is for. And standard, the usual. And another thing, before we continue, the only downside to this, I think, is the horror and mystery events. You kind of need a game master for that. It's not completely required. I mean, you can still use the emulator to do it, but it's a lot better when you have a game master for those games to prepare the actual monsters and scary scenes for you. But they become required. And another thing is the game master can't participate in the adventure itself, which is kind of sad. So I guess other GM emulators like Covetous Poets, that's the advantage they have over Mythic, is that you can completely run a horror campaign with them without the need of a game master. But this, you at least need a game master or at least a very focused referee to make things work. Next, we have build a theme. This is when you want to create your own events for an adventure. Yeah, you heard that right. You can make your own events table, and it's just up to you how you work them out. An example here, see? Zombie attacks, and this is a zombie apocalypse event focus table. And they offer more. See, here's a blank one. So it says here, it's whatever you want. You may want an apocalyptic horror game or a comedy game. See, they already gave a sample of the zombie apocalypse right here. I can use this for a comedy game. Like if this is a comedy table, I can say someone farts and letter A, or someone steps into poop. Silly stuff like that. It's very possible with this kind of game. It's very easy. So yeah, this is something good to have around if that's the kind of adventure you want. Okay, now, and you can go for random themes. There's a you might want to just scramble all this up so you can have a full adventure. Just about anything can happen. Like it can become epic suddenly. Something dramatic might happen. Like maybe after a battle with the villain, a phone call suddenly comes and one of the hero's past girlfriends call up and want to make up with them and start a new relationship, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's very possible using these event focus tables and the randomization of them. So there's that. And next you'll have complex questions. This is for if you want to give more nuance to your adventure, like you want more background material. So what'll happen is you roll for these tables here to generate an idea, like what happens. That's what the referee is. That's what I was talking about earlier. Like if you have a referee, they can interpret the meaning of stuff. Like, I pick a random book off the wizard's shelf. What is it about? So the table rolls Return of Travel. A referee can interpret that as it seems to be nothing more than a travel guide to getting around various parts of the kingdom. See? But alternatively, he can change that. For example, you're doing a sci-fi adventure. He can make it like it's a letter written by an astronaut, if it's a sci-fi adventure, and it talks about his personal message to the heroes, for example. So, yeah. Now, for the off-camera stories, these are downtime events, so to speak. This is when characters aren't particularly adventuring. They can have a lot of stuff happen to them. I mean, yeah, their lives could be boring, but maybe something happens. Like during the party's downtime, maybe the dwarf fighter, during that time, he's trying to run his tavern, but a tavern brawl breaks out and he's forced to fight with everybody else. Stuff like that can happen. So yeah, here's a way how you can build your backstory example. So see there, the engineering chief. So these are the 4 results. Thread, proposed elements. So he's mining stuff, and on the second he gets caught up in a war, that sort of thing. So it's all up to you on how you interpret stuff. It's entirely up to your character. See, there are other examples. To a sorcerer, you already have the chief engineer here, right? Sorcerer, maybe you can be a cop, that sort of thing. The off-camera stories are for those events when the players aren't adventuring together as a party and fighting a single enemy. Next is adventure outlines, which will teach you how to put together your own adventure outline. Now, this is usually done with the game master in mind, but sometimes the referee can use it too to make things easier for players. Like I said, with most GM emulators, there's no right or wrong way to do it. Maybe you need the outline so that at least you have a good idea on what will happen next, because you don't have a game master telling you stuff. It's not a game master that tells you, oh, this is what happens next. So instead you have an outline, a kind of flow chart that tells you, if this happens, you go to this next step. See? So it's less of a hassle for the players without a game master, and if there is a game master present, it's a lot easier for the game master. Okay? So that's it for this episode of Natural Juan. I hope you liked this presentation, and if you did, please like and share. And if you want more content like this, please subscribe to my channel and hit that bell for notifications. And anyway, I hope you're having a good day today. And this is Natural Juan saying, see you in the next video.